conflict between Israel and Palestine is a deeply rooted and complex issue that has persisted for decades. It involves historical grievances, territorial disputes, religious significance, political ideologies, and significant international interest. Finding a solution to this conflict is challenging but not impossible. Various actors could play critical roles in stopping the violence and promoting peace between Israel and Palestine. These include international organizations, influential countries, regional powers, non-governmental organizations, and grassroots movements. The United Nations has historically played a significant role in addressing the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The UN could implement more robust resolutions that call for an immediate ceasefire and a return to peace negotiations. The UN Security Council, with its ability to enforce international law, could put pressure on both Israel and Palestine to halt violence and engage in dialogue. Peacekeeping forces could be deployed to maintain stability and prevent further escalation. Additionally, the UN could facilitate negotiations between Israeli and Palestinian leaders, providing a neutral platform for dialogue and ensuring that both sides have an opportunity to voice their concerns and negotiate terms for peace. The United States has long been a key player in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict due to its strong alliance with Israel and its influence in the region. The U.S. could leverage its relationship with Israel to encourage and support peace initiatives. By applying diplomatic pressure, offering economic incentives, and providing security guarantees, the U.S. could persuade Israel to cease aggressive actions and engage in meaningful negotiations. Additionally, the U.S. could work with Palestinian leaders to support their governance structures and promote peace and stability within Palestinian territories. The U.S. could also use its diplomatic influence to bring other international actors into the peace process. The European Union has significant economic and political influence that could be used to mediate peace between Israel and Palestine. The EU could offer trade incentives, development aid, and diplomatic support to both parties, encouraging them to halt hostilities and engage in dialogue. By working with other international actors, the EU could provide a balanced approach to conflict resolution. The EU could also support initiatives that promote human rights and democratic governance in the region, helping to create conditions conducive to lasting peace. Regional powers, including Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey, could play crucial roles in mediating peace between Israel and Palestine. These countries have historical, cultural, and political ties to the conflict and could act as intermediaries. Egypt and Jordan, which have peace treaties with Israel, could use their diplomatic channels to facilitate negotiations. Saudi Arabia and Turkey could use their influence in the Muslim world to garner support for peace initiatives and encourage Palestinian factions to unite under a common cause for peace. Regional powers could also work together to provide economic support and development aid to Palestinian territories, helping to address some of the underlying economic grievances that fuel the conflict. Non-governmental organizations focused on peace building and conflict resolution could contribute significantly to stopping the violence. These organizations could work on the ground to provide humanitarian aid, support dialogue initiatives, and promote understanding between Israelis and Palestinians. NGOs could facilitate people-to-people contact, fostering mutual respect and empathy through educational and cultural exchange programs. By addressing humanitarian needs and promoting grassroots peace efforts, NGOs could help build a foundation for long-term peace. Grassroots movements within Israel and Palestine have the potential to drive significant change. Movements advocating for peace, coexistence, and human rights could influence public opinion and pressure leaders to pursue nonviolent solutions. By organizing protests, awareness campaigns, and community dialogues, grassroots movements could create a groundswell of support for peace. Empowering local leaders and activists who advocate for peaceful coexistence could also contribute to building trust and understanding between the two sides. Economic measures could also play a role in stopping the violence. International actors could offer economic incentives, such as development aid and trade opportunities, to both Israel and Palestine in exchange for commitments to peace. Conversely, Economic sanctions could be used to pressure both sides to cease hostilities and engage in negotiations. By leveraging economic tools, the international community could influence the behavior of both parties and create conditions conducive to peace. Diplomatic negotiations are essential for resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. International mediators, such as the Quartet on the Middle East, could facilitate talks between Israeli and Palestinian leaders. These negotiations should aim to address key issues, including borders, the status of Jerusalem, security, refugees, and settlements. A comprehensive peace agreement that addresses the core grievances of both sides is necessary for achieving lasting peace. Diplomatic efforts should be persistent and inclusive, ensuring that all relevant stakeholders are involved in the peace process. Human rights violations are a significant driver of the conflict. Both Israeli and Palestinian authorities must be held accountable for any abuses committed. International human rights organizations and legal bodies could investigate and document violations, providing evidence for potential legal action. Ensuring justice and accountability for human rights abuses is essential for building trust and promoting reconciliation between the two sides. Education and cultural exchange programs could play a crucial role in promoting understanding and empathy between Israelis and Palestinians. By fostering mutual respect and dispelling stereotypes, these programs could help reduce animosity and build a foundation for peaceful coexistence. Educational initiatives that teach the history and perspectives of both sides could promote a more nuanced understanding of the conflict and encourage dialogue. Cultural exchange programs, including arts, sports, and community activities, could bring people together and build bridges between the two communities. The media plays a significant role in shaping public opinion and can influence the course of the conflict. Responsible journalism that provides balanced and accurate coverage of the conflict could help reduce misinformation and promote understanding. Media outlets should avoid sensationalism and instead focus on highlighting efforts toward peace and reconciliation. Public opinion, both within the region and internationally, can pressure leaders to pursue nonviolent solutions. Grassroots movements and advocacy campaigns could leverage social media and other platforms to raise awareness and mobilize support for peace initiatives. Religious leaders from both sides could play a significant role in promoting peace and reconciliation. By advocating for nonviolence and dialogue, religious leaders could influence their followers and promote a message of peace. Interfaith initiatives that bring together religious leaders and communities from different backgrounds could foster mutual respect and understanding. Religious leaders could also work to address the misuse of religious narratives to justify violence, promoting interpretations that emphasize peace and coexistence. International pressure is crucial for stopping the violence between Israel and Palestine. Countries around the world could use diplomatic channels to advocate for peace and encourage both sides to engage in negotiations. International summits and conferences could provide platforms for dialogue and conflict resolution. The international community could also use mechanisms such as sanctions, trade restrictions, and diplomatic isolation to pressure both parties to cease hostilities and pursue peaceful solutions. Collective action by the global community is essential for creating the conditions necessary for lasting peace. Improving local governance and development in Palestinian territories could address some of the underlying grievances that fuel the conflict. International aid and development programs could focus on building infrastructure, improving public services, and creating economic opportunities for Palestinians. Strengthening local institutions and promoting good governance could enhance stability and reduce the appeal of violent resistance. Development initiatives that involve both Israelis and Palestinians could also promote cooperation and build trust between the two communities. Achieving lasting peace between Israel and Palestine requires a long-term vision that addresses the root causes of the conflict. This vision should include a commitment to justice, equality, and human rights for all individuals in the region. It should also involve a recognition of the historical grievances and legitimate aspirations of both sides. A comprehensive peace agreement that addresses key issues, including borders, the status of Jerusalem, security, refugees, and settlements is essential. This agreement should be backed by strong international guarantees and mechanisms for enforcement. Ultimately, stopping the violence between Israel and Palestine requires a multifaceted approach involving international organizations, influential countries, regional powers, non-governmental organizations, grassroots movements, and individuals. By working together and addressing the root causes of the conflict, it is possible to create conditions for lasting peace and stability in the region. The path to peace will be challenging and require sustained effort, but it is essential for the well-being and future of both Israelis and